Okay guys, so welcome to the Scuba Schools Studley gassing area, for want of a better word. As you can see, cylinders, it's difficult to identify, or it could be difficult to identify which is nitrox and which is air. Also we've got on this side over here, we've got oxygen and we've got compressed air bank, that's the bank, and the actual points at which the gas comes into the system from the compressor outside. These are known as whips, as we've discussed before, and they connect to the cylinders and they charge the cylinders. It would seem simple, but there's other pieces of kit in here that are equally important. This bit of kit, the analyzer, it's one of many, there's a number of them on the market. Usually we keep two in the shop, one in case we need to calibrate and check the calibration of these. And we'll talk about calibration when we get back into the classroom. But essentially this tells me what's in the cylinder. For example, okay, so we've got cylinders here that we might use for nitrox diving. These would seem clearly marked. So this one, for example, 15 litre marked nitrox. Clearly the green and yellow identification say that it's nitrox, but that doesn't necessarily mean that's the case. You've got another one here marked up. This is Scuba Schools, its own marking. This tends to be paddy marking or other places around the UK and around the rest of Europe or America. This one is more of a local. This one again is marked up nitrox. You can see that this one's a yellow cylinder, this one's a white cylinder. There's a whole range of cylinders. It could even be an aluminium cylinder and just a silver, just the silver aluminium. This one's got an extra valve cover on it, a green valve cover. So there's a multitude of different identification markers for cylinders. But what really you need to check before you use a cylinder is make sure that it's in date. Now there's two dates on the cylinder, as we discussed earlier. The cylinder itself for air is checked and marked on the top of the cylinder. So it tells you when the next date is due, and it tells you the type of test that's due. So that's the first thing that's necessary. You may ask for nitrox, but you won't get nitrox if the second test hasn't been done. And you can see this one's clearly marked. It's marked 2021. And it's marked for June 2021. So that's when that one's got to be done, got to be tested again. The actual cylinder for air was last tested for, when was it last tested? Its next test is a visual test, and in 2022. So you can see there is a little bit of a difference. Someone's just come in and bought this cylinder in for me to be filled, and as you can see, this is marked slightly differently. If you look at the white label there, this one is an air cleaned certificate. This one is also air cleaned. But when we look at it closely, you see 2019, there's a stamp in there to show 2019 was when this expired. So at the end of the day, this is out of date. It's no good for nitrox, so you can't put nitrox on it. And with a quick double check, and we see that in 2020, September 2020, this one went out of date. So this one can't be used for air, it can't be used to carry just normal compressed air, and certainly can't be used for nitrox. So this one couldn't be filled. So we wouldn't be able to provide a fill for this one. A, it's dangerous, and B, it's dangerous to the diver. It's bad for the reputation of the shop if we were to just fill it. So it's a no-no. So this cylinder, it's clearly marked as it's in test. Yeah, it's clearly marked that it's nitrox compatible. It's O2 cleaned, and it says that it's a nitrox cylinder. Customer wants nitrox. It's a full cylinder, so we know that it's just been filled. The unit itself is calibrated, so we've calibrated the unit. It's not quite 21%. We want it around about the 20.8, 20.9, and then we just gently turn on the gas. Okay, it's very important that you do it gently and slowly, and you'll see the numbers go up. And the importance of it is demonstrated because it says it's 21%. So this is actually air. it's clean air that's been put in a nitrox cylinder. So that's not what the customer's expecting. So that's 21%. So have a look at the other cylinder. Doesn't matter whether it's a DIN fitting or a A-clamp fitting. Put it on, turn it on steadily. And immediately this numbers go up on this. We'll show you close up in a second. But this goes up now, it's 34, 38, 40%. So that's 40% nitrox in that. Yeah, it's 40%. Okay, that just really emphasises the importance of checking the gas contents yourself. All these cylinders, there's a number of them here that could have nitrox in, they might have air in. It's up to you, and just emphasising it's up to you to double check and to calibrate and check that contents yourself. Hopefully that explains it all to you. Always ask the guys to do the filling for you. You will not get the opportunity to do that, but it is going to be you that needs to check it and to calibrate. And as I say, just ask the guys for a unit, an analyzer, and I'll give it you, and then you can use it to ensure your safety when you dive. Certainly without the course that you're doing now and the qualification that you'll get from this course, you wouldn't be able to fill these up anyway. Most dive sites will need you to produce a PADI card, or either on card or on your mobile phone as an e-card, before they'll fill any cylinders up. You'll also need to make sure that you record the quality and the quantity and the depth that you're going to be diving in all shops that provide nitrox. And you can see there, that's the form that we go through. It's something along those lines in most shops. And we'll go through that when we get back into the classroom, but it's an important document. Some shops even keep your card, your electronic card, or your PIC card, to ensure that you are qualified before you sign the gas out to go diving. You'll understand as you go through the course that if you take a high percentage of oxygen, for example, down to a significant depth, it can become dangerous, which is why it's important that you log the maximum depth that you're going to be diving at and the mix that you've requested and you've tested yourself. It's not up to the shop to test it. They will test it, and then you'll double check it and test it for yourself.